And so you've probably already seen it. You're probably already managing them. But Newcastle have been given a £200 million budget in FM22 in the first season. It's pretty ridiculous after the takeover. So I thought I would see what happens to them if we just let FM run its course. So I've simulated some seasons. I'm just gonna go and see what happens to Newcastle and their ridiculous budget. I'm intrigued. I haven't actually looked at this yet. I'm intrigued to find out what happens. Let's have a look. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Clayts. And today we've got what is probably an FM22 experiment because Newcastle have been given this insane budget, £200 million to go and spend in the first transfer window. Everyone's talking about it. And so I thought, actually, if I just go and simulate through a few seasons, what happens to Newcastle? Can they go and win the league? Do they bring in some ridiculous players? Or do they just blow it on terrible players and fail completely? I want to know. I haven't actually looked, but I have gone to simulate 5 seasons. And I'm going to let you know what happens to them. This is going to be really, really interesting. If you are interested in this and you find this type of thing fun, then please do subscribe to the channel and we'll do something like this again in the future. And you'll be notified when we do go and do that. Give it a like as well because it, of course, does help the algorithm and, you know, pushing it out there for other people to see. And what I want you to do before I actually go and have a look at season 1, what I want you to do is leave me a comment down below. Predict. How do you think they finish in the first season? You see here that they are predicted to finish 10th in the first season, despite having 200 million to spend. I suppose that is because their team is not very good to start off with. Where do you think they're going to finish first season? Let me know in the comments down below. And actually, maybe we'll do an overall prediction. Do you think they're going to win a Premier League title in 5 seasons? Let me know in the comments and let's find out if you are correct. We're going to do this in phases then. So we'll do 1 season, then 3 seasons, and then 5 seasons. We'll check in what's happened. Who do they bring in? Who do they sell? Where do they finish? Did they get to the Champions League? That type of thing. And yeah, let's go and see how they do after 1 season. I'll be right back. And here we are then after 1 season has been played through in this save file. One thing to mention, by the way, I know that I added myself as a manager at the start of that first save just to show you what the budgets were. I actually didn't manage Newcastle in this simulation. I am just unemployed, as you see here. Look, my very sort of patchy beard seems very scratchy. That beard on there, don't you think? Well, I'm actually not the manager or anything, so I didn't want to influence this at all. I'm just an innocent bystander looking at what happens, and I've actually not checked this yet. I just stopped it after a year, then after 3 years, and then after 5. So after 1 year, I can see straight away that Man City have won the double, which means Newcastle haven't won the league. I guess the first thing to do is have a look where they finished in the Premier League. Newcastle finished 10th. So the media prediction was 10th, and they've actually finished as the 10th place team, mid-table. I suppose if that happened in real life this year, after the start they've made, after where they kind of are, now that they've just, you know, got rid of Steve Bruce and all that, 10th they'd probably be very happy with. I wonder, though, did they sign any people? And let's actually have a look at what happened. The manager is Brendan Rodgers. So they've taken Brendan Rodgers from Leicester. That is very interesting. Jamal Lascelles is still the captain. I'm looking at players here. There doesn't seem to be too much. Have a look at the squad. Okay, they have made signings. Straight away, they have made some signings. I can straight away, I'm looking, there's Paulinho in there. There's Renan Lodi. There's Diego Carlos and Felipe. They have made some signings. Let me tell you that. Let's go to the transfers and transfer history. Oh my word. They have spent £250 million in the first transfer window and then still only finished 10th in the league. They spent 51 million on Oscar, bringing him back to the Premier League. You see him there, 30 years old. That is a lot of money. What wages do they put him on? He is on 92k a week. It's actually lower than I expected it to be. Raul Jimenez from Wolves for 45 million. Part exchange. Javi Manquillo went to Wolves in that deal. Interesting. Diego Carlos, the centre-back. Very good centre-back, actually, but 29. Julian Weigl from Benfica. Renan Lodi. Joe Willock That was a real life one, of course. Actually, £25 million. There's a couple you can't really see behind me here, but it is Rick Karsdorp for 19, Felipe for 13, and Charlie McNeil from... and then actually, I think these might be real ones. Charlie McNeil from Manchester United for £1 million. A few sort of like lower level transfers in there as well. But the big ones, Oscar for 51 million. Would you be happy with that if you're a Newcastle fan? Oscar for 50 mil. Raul Jimenez, that'd be quite a good signing actually for Newcastle, I feel. Diego Carlos would be good as well. Interestingly, did they sell anybody for any sort of money? Not really. Joe Linton went to Burnley, which I find quite funny, actually. Not really sure why, but he's gone to Burnley for £4.3 million. They've spent £250 million and finished 10th. How did they actually do? Let's have a look at how they did in some competitions. They got to the FA Cup semi-final and then lost to Chelsea in the semi-finals. That's a decent cup run, I suppose. Carabao Cup, they went out to Manchester United 2-1. Paul Pogba and Dylan Hoogworth, who is a youngster, scored the winner in that. In the league, though, let's just look at the record. It was 13 wins, 12 draws, 13 losses. Very, very average in the middle of that table. Did the players score any goals? I'm looking at the likes of, Raul Jimenez. Did he score any goals for them? He's not even in the top 20 goal scorers, so he didn't get more than 11 goals. So that's very interesting for the money they paid. I think that's a very interesting first season then for Newcastle. 10th place in the league after spending £250 million. I wouldn't say those signings are particularly sustainable for the save either. The likes of Oscar, was he 31? And then there's a 29-year-old Diego Carlos. They're not using their money to sign young players who might improve. They're going for those out-and-out top players right now. I don't even know if they are the top players. Was the Paulinho they signed? Was he the Paulinho? Was it the young Bayer Leverkusen one? Or was it actually the old Paulinho? It was the actual old Paulinho, the 33-year-old. I've just checked it there. They've gone for all these players, bringing them back from China, for example. Very interesting. Anyway, we've done one season. The next sim point that I've got to is 3 seasons into this save. So we'll have 2 seasons, 2 extra seasons now to look back on. How do you reckon they're going to finish now? I actually have no idea. 10th place, maybe? You'd think that they would improve. I wonder if they've got any money left to spend on the game. Let's go and find out. I'll be back in 2 more seasons' time. See you in a sec. So here we are then, 3 seasons now into this save. 2024 is the date, as you see at the top here. Let's go and find out what Newcastle have done in the past couple of seasons. Of course, I actually don't know this yet. So let's go to the Premier Division. We're going to see the most recent season first of all. And they finished 10th again. They've not really improved. They're still finishing completely mid-table. Did they have a good season before that? If I go back one more season, I suppose a little bit. 8th. So far in this save, they finished 10th, 8th, and 10th again. They're not really improving despite having that much investment, which is very interesting. Now, I guess the next thing to look at is, did they spend any more money? You see, they finished on 50 points. That's pretty disappointing, isn't it? Did they spend any more money? Let's go back to the transfer history and let's go back to... Well, first of all, let's look at... This is the Season 1 ones, which we just saw. Season 2, they have signed 4 players and that is it. They've spent £47 million. So the money, it seems, did dry up somewhat. That's actually a very modest amount to spend in the Premier League generally, actually. £47 million. They brought Henrik Mkhitaryan in on a free transfer. Andre Hansen for 1.2 million. That's a goalkeeper, right? Is he a goalie? Yeah, he's the Norwegian goalie. Another 34-year-old. They're signing... It's like OAPFC, this is. Alessio Cragno for 11 million from Cagliari. Another goalkeeper. They just signed 2 goalies during this window. And then most of the money went on Callum Hudson-Odoi for £34.5 million. They sold and got rid of loads of players as well. Not for very much money, though. The most expensive was Isaac Hayden going to West Brom. They actually sold 3 players to Sochi in Russia. 3 players going to Sochi in Russia is very interesting. That seems very odd to me. You've got Matt Ritchie, Federico Fernandez, and Jeff Hendrick going to Russia. I can't really picture Jeff Hendrick playing in Russia, but, you know, there we go. He's off there, and they didn't really do much in terms of the window then, did they? I'll have a look at who they've signed in the most recent window. Here it is. Okay, they spent a bit more money after this then. £186 million spent most recently, which saw them go from 8th to 10th, which, yeah, didn't really help, did it? Let's have a look at who they brought in. Most expensively, they bought Danny Olmo. That is a big signing. Maybe one that is actually a little bit of youth. Not quite youth at this stage, 26 years old, but a little bit younger. Lucas Verissimo from Benfica for £53 million. The Brazilian, he's got 1 cap for Brazil. Another centre-back. That's a big money signing. Curtis Jones from Liverpool. He must be pretty decent at this stage. 23 years old. Again, 42 million is quite a lot. Sebastian Coates from the ex-Liverpool centre-back is, I mean, he looks incredible. I won't lie to you. He looks incredible in terms... I know we've got attribute masking on, but there's a lot of 19 to 20s in there. He looks pretty good. He's 33 again. Yuri Pavlenka, another goalkeeper being bought in. Okay, they're obsessed with goalies. And then a couple of cheap players coming in as well for less than £1 million. They did actually raise a bit of money in this window. They sold Julian Weigl for £51 million, look. He went to Juventus. They bought him in the first season, if you remember back. Let's have a look at what the actual squad looks like now. If I go on tactics, actually, they're playing a 5-3-2. I wonder, are these wide centre-backs? I wonder. That would be cool. They're getting very much involved with the FM thing if they are wide centre-backs. Also, they've still got Callum Wilson up front, who... Was he their top goal scorer? No, Raul Jimenez was their top goal scorer with 12, who's currently on the bench. That might just be their most recent formation, the most recent squad they used. You see it here, though. It's quite interesting. It looks very FM. Max Aarons, Renan Lodi, Oscar still in the team with Curtis Jones and Olmo. They're playing St. Maximin as a striker, it seems, at this stage. That is, I quite like it, you know. I quite like that. I wonder, have they built enough now to actually be a bit of a force in the last couple of seasons that we're going to look at? 2 more seasons of what we are going to go and simulate now. They've got nowhere near the Premier League title yet, have they? Can they do it in the 2 more seasons? Let's go forward 2 more seasons. Seeing them in. All right, so I've gone forward to the final season of this simulation. 5 seasons in 2026. I'm just thinking they've done 1 big spending window, 1 less spending, and then 1 big one. And now I wonder, is there going to be 1 big transfer spending spree before the end of this? Have they managed to win this Premier League title or even get close? Have they even qualified for Europe yet? Let's find out. This is it's really fun, the fact that I've not seen this whilst I'm looking at the same time as you. I'm finding that very, very entertaining. Let's have a look. All right, here we go. I'm going to click on... I'm trying not to see any spoilers here. Let's click on the Premier League season. 2 more seasons have gone by, of course. They're not the holders. I've seen that already. They finished 17th. You can't even see it. It's down below me. Let me show you behind me right here. They finished 17th in the table just narrowly. I say just narrowly. They are 9 points clear of relegation. Sheffield United and Luton in the Premier League with Huddersfield in there. They've nearly got relegated. It's gone terribly wrong here at Newcastle after 5 seasons. Wow, wow, wow. Where did they finish the season before that then? So they've gone what? 10th, 8th, 10th, something, 17th. Where did they finish the season before? Europe. They finished 7th. What an up and down team they have proved to be. They actually managed to qualify for the Euro Cup 2 in season number 4. And then season 5, 17th in the league. That is crazy. On 38 points. They didn't even get to that magic 40 points total, which we always talk about as avoiding relegation. Wow, I find that really, really hilarious. Let's have a look at the team and let's have a look at the signings then that they have made over these past couple of seasons. Let's go back to the season before. They've spent a lot of money. I've just seen it right there. £194 million spent in season 4. Most of that money, if we just filter this or sort this, was on Emile Smith-Rowe. £65 million on Emile Smith-Rowe, who is now 25 years old, coming into his prime. Juan Musso was £61 million. Another goalkeeper. They are obsessed with signing goalies, spending all their money on goalies. I'm looking through this. This is crazy on how many keepers they have signed. Joe Rodon from Tottenham came in for £43 million. Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace came in. Coquelin for £8 million. Max Allain from Man City. And then a couple of free transfers. Kostic and Comas as well. They did get rid of some players, mostly on a free. You see the likes of Oscar left the club on a free eventually when he's now, what, 34? They spent £51 million on him in the first season. Mkhitaryan, who joined on a free, has also left on a free. Lascelles, Felipe, he came in first season as well, I think, didn't he? Andre Hansen, another goalkeeper, leaving. Really interesting the way that they've decided to spend their money, mainly on keepers, it would seem. After this, then, we have one more transfer window. But before and just you know what? Let's have a look at who they signed in the last transfer window. £165 million spent. This is ridiculous. Most of it on a goalkeeper. Most of it was actually spent on Andre Onana, another keeper, £55 million. They have spent over £200 million on just on goalkeepers in 5 years. This is like City and fullbacks, isn't it? Chao Henrique also came in. He is a left back. Renan Lodi replacement, I assume. Also, Benjamin Sesko for £38 million from Salzburg. This might be a little insight into who's going to be worth a bit of money in the future as well, if you're thinking about your own saves. John Stones came in at 31. Antonio Fernandez, he was probably one of the first regens being signed. New gens there coming in. You see the new gen faces looking... He looks very angry, does Antonio Fernandez. And then Arthur on a free as well. Probably on a decent wage, I'd imagine. Only 79k, not too bad. They did raise 30 million or so. They sold Mark Gahey after 1 season for 26.5 million. A few people left on frees as well. I just want to have a little look at their schedule. Just see, actually, they were in Europe for this year. Oh, they've got the European final to go. It's in 2 days. The Euro Cup 2 final is in 2 days and they play Anderlecht. I mean, it'd be silly not to go and find out if they win that, right? Let's go and see if they win that. And yeah, how did they do in the season before? Did they get to an FA Cup final or anything? They lost in the semi-finals of the FA Cup again to Leicester. I don't think I looked at the fixtures before that. What was the terrible in the FA Cup before that? And did we look at this one? I think we did terrible in the FA Cup before that one as well. Then first season was a semi-final. So this is the first chance at silverware, actually. I'm going to go on holiday for 2 days. Because let's do 3 days. Because in 3 days' time, they will have played a Euro Cup 2 cup final against Anderlecht. So let's go and find out if they win it or not. There it is. They did! They did win silverware. They've won it 2-1. It's goals from Sesko and Arthur. Silverware. Is that what you'd expect after the takeover? And, you know, £200 million to spend first season. A Euro Cup 2 trophy is all they've got to show for it. Very, very interesting, this. I mean, do you want me to go and do 10 years? Do you want me to go and do 15 years? If you do, you need to leave me a comment down below. Do you want to see other experiments like this? If you have ideas, I am all ears. Please do let me know if you have any ideas of videos that are like this one. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed and you enjoyed this, please do subscribe. Leave a like on the video. Get me those comments down below. But most importantly, have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye. That was fun, that. I enjoyed that. Oh my words, I've just noticed Jose Mourinho is the England manager.